Hey guys, welcome back to Character Design, a Tuts Plus premium course. I'm Ian Yates, and in this video we're going to look at what exactly a character is. Let's begin by taking a quick look at what we're going to cover. Firstly, we'll start with a definition of character, nice and simple. Then we're going to look at the difference between character and caricature. Then we're going to think about some of the situations you might need a character for. We're going to talk about our own character. This is going to be an example that we'll develop to accompany us during the length of this course. And then we're going to finish off by looking at some examples to check out, plus I'll leave you with an assignment before the next video. Now if you take a look in any dictionary, you'll find that character is defined as something like the aggregate of features and traits that form the individual nature of some person or thing. Someone's character describes not only the way they appear, but also the way they are. It's the culmination of their characteristics. When we're thinking visually, characteristics are communicated symbolically. But the important thing to take away is that character describes the nature of something. We all recognize cartoon characters to be drawings or animations of people, animals, and objects which have a nature that we can relate to. Think about personality, charisma, faults and feelings, thoughts and emotions. When you're designing a character, the most fundamental aspect of doing so is in communicating character. Of course, personality doesn't have to mean that we're talking about a person either. The word personification is the act of attributing characteristics of a person onto another object. And there's that word characteristics again. Designing a cartoon character in whatever medium gives you the freedom to apply personification to anything. Your character could be a piece of cheese, but it's perfectly possible to apply human characteristics to it, and therefore create a character. Something with which the audience can relate. Something which triggers an emotional response. Now, this probably sounds like I'm overcomplicating the idea behind a character. Surely we just need to be looking at goggly eyes, a stupid face, and 3-fingered hands. Well, perhaps to a certain extent, but keep in mind the basic concept of personality, and you'll be off to a better start. So what about a caricature? Isn't that the same thing? Well, no. A caricature does possess characteristics, but if you check the web again for more definitions, you'll find that a caricature is specifically a portrait that exaggerates or distorts the essence of a person to create an easily identifiable visual likeness. A caricature represents a specific person, and it's usually used for mockery, satire and ridicule, such as this brilliant example of Bono here. Now it's clear why politicians, often being sorely disliked, regularly find themselves the victims of caricaturization. So anyway, that's not our aim here. We're not designing a caricature of anyone in particular. We're going to be designing a character with a specific purpose in mind. That said, let's have a look at some of the situations where you might find characters. Firstly, perhaps most obviously, cartoon animations. Hands up, who's ever heard of Mickey Mouse? Fred Flintstone? Homer Simpson? Of course you have. These are characters which have been ingrained in global culture for decades, and they're probably what you think of first when we say character. They're classically cartoony, amusing, personally identifiable, instantly recognizable. They fulfill every aspect of successful character design. Remember, you don't just know what these examples look like, you know them. You know what makes each one tick, how they react to given circumstances. You know their personalities. How about mascots? If you've ever been to a sports game, basketball, hockey, or baseball, whatever, you'll have likely seen a character with a massive head walking up and down the touchline, getting everybody going. These characters are personalities which are associated with the team, effectively personification of the team's character. They're usually animals to either endear the fans to the team, like fox cubs or birds, or perhaps to inspire confidence, like lions, eagles, bulls, sporting winners. Again, they fulfill many of the qualities which we'll be discussing in this series. Taking the idea of sports mascots further, how about brands? Breakfast cereal? Insurance brokers? Events? Any brand can be represented by a character. And these days you'll find that many websites create personality through having characters represent their values. MailChimp, for example, Silverback, Freelance Switch, even the Envato marketplaces, they all use examples of characters who visually and emotionally connect the user to the service. Now let's think about our own character. Over the course of the next few videos, I'm going to be demonstrating everything I talk about by designing a character who joins us along the way. Let's think for a minute about the purpose of this character. We need someone or something which you, the student, will identify with. Ideally, the character should engage you, be memorable so you don't forget to come back and check out the next video. It should encourage you to continue with the course, and it should become familiar throughout the series so that you bond with its personality traits. You may dislike the character. You may be frustrated with the character. You may have overwhelming respect for the character. Whatever the case, this character needs to provoke emotional response from you. Now, we're going to talk more about brainstorming and the creative process in the next video, but for the time being, let's consider the idea of a fellow student or a teacher. Both characters with which you could associate the learning process. Now, assuming both are engaging and they have recognizable characteristics and are executed in such a way as to be memorable, what do you think would best accompany this course? The teacher, who acts as an inspiration, a source of knowledge, a leader, although potentially a figure of ridicule, or a student, who acts as a peer, an equal, whose progress can be equally inspiring and equally encouraging, but perhaps represents an element of competition. All these traits are to some extent dependent on how we design each one, but whichever we choose, we want them to have a positive bearing on the series. Time for some further reading, and pleasantly I'm going to suggest you read a comic. Go and check out Life in the Analog Age, which is an online comic by Gabe Swar. In it, he features himself, or rather a character, even caricature of himself, as a child. It's retrospective, it's nostalgic, visually striking, and very unique. It's simple, and the characters within it are very engaging. I'm probably exactly the audience he aims to connect with, as he and I are about the same age and experience similar childhoods. But read it, enjoy it, and think about the relationship you have with his characters. Now, in each of these screencasts, I'm going to conclude with an assignment. Before you watch the next video, I want you to give serious thought as to which of our potential characters would best suit our needs. A teacher or a student? Which one shall we develop further? Next time on Character Design, we're going to look at brainstorming and the creative process. My name's Ian Yates, and from all of us here at Tuts Plus, thanks for watching.